Weekly market analysis, as we always do with the technicians, 2 cents worth. Geoff, is it a technical market right now?
Oh, look, always is, Paul, at some stage on some currency pairs. So let's have a look and see what I can find this week. First up, I'm going to point out just one thing, really, that I would like to, I guess, make you understand why I do what I do on a Sunday. And it's generally the case I'm looking for reversals or continuations, in most cases reversals. And on this chart, I think it's very, very clear what I'm actually looking for, and I'll kind of take that into my analysis today. I look for, and one of the things I was taught when I was a young no, I was never a young trader, back in the, I guess, the zeros, I was taught that there was such a thing as a market direction or a key reversal bar. And I think it works very, very well on this chart. And what a key reversal bar is, or a market direction bar is something that has got a lower low. In this case, if we're going in an upward direction, it's got a lower low than the previous bar, and it closes on or near its high, as this one has done. Now, I just want to point out a few of those and what they result in. That one there is exactly that. And if you're coming the opposite direction, it's got a higher high than the previous, and it closes on or near its low. So just let's investigate that and see what we can see. So that resulted in a rally that went up to here, resulted in a sell-off that went down to here. The very next one, lower low, closed on or near its high, up to here. Higher high, closed on or near its low, down to here. Lower low, closed on or near its high, up to here, etc., etc., etc. Even this big bar here fits that criteria. This bar here fits that criteria. So does this bar here, fits that criteria. So does that bar here, and so on and so forth. So does that bar here. Well, we've got one of those this week on the weekly chart, where we've got a high that's higher than the previous, and it's closed on or near its low. Now, if you can refute all of that evidence that I've just supplied to you on this chart, good luck to you. But that kind of gives me an indication that this is going south in some shape or form. Now, I'm in a long here and have been for many weeks on this particular chart, but I'm compelled to now, well, I'll probably cover that long in some fashion by looking at this chart on the weekly and going, well, okay, let's take advantage of the knowledge that we have and start to look at a short here. So how we're going to do that is probably debatable at this point. We've got a beautiful little tweezer top sitting there on the top of my ascending channel. We've got a big bearish bar on Friday. Really all I'm looking for is a lower high here, and I'll look to trade this short. So that's pound Kiwi. I'm going to carry that that prognosis through to Aussie Kiwi as well, but it's a little bit different because I've got a structure here that's telling me that we're going long at some stage. So it's interesting to go back to the weekly chart and see that potential key reversal here, where we've got higher high, higher than the previous bar, and it's closed on or near its low. This is not compelling for me because this one here is still in play. We've got a low that's lower than the previous, and it's closed on or near its high. Is this one finished? And then we've got another one here. You see, these are all repetitive. They all do the same thing. And that was the last one that we saw, I think, before this one. I'm inclined to think that this will go short then long based on these two here. So I'm not particularly keen to trade this short for a longer period of time. And we do have a clear double bottom here, higher high, higher low. We're searching for a higher high here. So I'm probably looking to trade that short on a short-term basis. But I really want to see what happens next. You can see the monthly pivot, the new monthly pivot here has just been pierced and closed below that monthly pivot. What I'd really like to see is something on a smaller time frame. Give me a retest of that monthly pivot. I'm not sure. The weekly will drop without question. So will the daily. So we've probably got pivots down here somewhere. Probably like to see that break and retest. Play it short down to here which would still give us a higher low, higher high sequence. And then we can look to trade it long from this area here. And bear in mind that we are in a sequence of trading to the top of that range, which is up here somewhere. So it's probably a case of short to go long on Aussie Kiwi. And I think we've been looking for that for quite some time, actually. There's three other charts I want to look at, and dollar Swissy is one of them. I'm looking at the monthly chart here, and the reason I'm looking at that is just to make a point. And the point is this. We've had 3 months in a row of bullish bars preceding the current month that we are in. And you have to go back. Where can you see 3 bullish months in a row? There's one there. So we've had one of those, 2 of those, since the incredible decoupling of the euro and the Swissy on January 2015. So that's not a common occurrence, is what I'm trying to point out. And we are at a resistance level here as well. So I'm expecting the monthly chart to continue its downward trajectory. Where to? Probably this area here, where we've got a clear lower low, or a clear low here and a clear high here, and we've had a bounce off that as well. So I'm expecting a retracement here of some kind. And if you have a look at this chart as well, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullish candles in a row on a weekly chart. You'd have to go back quite a fair way to find where that's happened in previous history as well. So I'm expecting that we're going to have a pullback here on dollar Swissy, and I'm not sure why fundamentally that's even possible, frankly, at the moment, but that's where we are. So I'm looking to come back to maybe 93 or 92.88 as I've got that level there. So that will be a bearish bias on dollar Swissy this week. And I think the best of the range trades this week will be Aussie Swiss, number 1. And if you go back and have a look at this on a 4-hour chart, you can see that range pretty clearly. The thing that I do like, all week last week, it rejected this weekly pivot level apart from one little spike down, but it soon came back very, very quickly into that range. So it's a tiny little range, and I think we've got a strong chance of trading that back to the top before we go anywhere else. Not really interested on a longer term directional bias, but again, you can see it's been very, very bullish. You're probably expecting that to stay there for a little while to get over that bullish momentum, and that's where we are. So I'm more than happy to trade that long back to the top of the range, and then keep it inside that range, keep the bias inside that range for some time to come until we get that breakout. That was a nice little hint that we don't want to go lower at the moment. Monthly pivot's not going to change. The weekly pivot will probably move a little bit, but it's not going to go too far. I think that's an excellent launching pad for a long, but you only want to trade it up to that 72 level, 0.72 level, Aussie Swissy. And the last of the range trades, or the 2 of the range trades that I think are the better ones this week, dollar CAD's another one. That's the monthly chart that we're looking at, and I've got an extreme, and I said this last week, an extreme bias to the downside on this. But on this chart, I can also see a very clear support level that we are now rejecting for not the first time, not the second time, not the third time, but the 4th time. So I'm expecting this to go back towards the top of the range. May not reach the top. That's the monthly chart again, so we've got to take that into consideration. There's the weekly chart significantly coming off the bottom there. I'm looking for a higher low to trade that in the long direction. May come on the daily chart, may come on a shorter time frame as well. On the daily chart, this trend line is extremely important, and we have broken back below that weekly pivot, which is interesting. I was looking all week, and we did trade this long to the top of that range earlier in the week and got a beautiful exit. Actually, it was a lovely trade. Now we've come back below the weekly pivot. I'm expecting this level here, 125.07, to be the launch pad for the next long. And that will give us a pretty cool looking inverted head and shoulders there. So I'm really looking for that level. Not sure what happened on Friday to give this the boost that it got, But gee, I'd love to see this down here around about the 125.07 level. I don't trade limit entry orders, but I'm extremely tempted to do that, just to place a limit entry order here, get a fairly decent stop loss underneath it, and see how that pans out. I think we're going back to that trade line, or trend line, or trade line, call it what you want, at some stage. And there's the launch pad round about that 125 mark. I think that would be an excellent place to go long dollar CAD. And that is what I'll be looking for during the week. And that is my 2 cents worth.
And cheers, Geoff. Thank you very much for your 2 cents worth. I always look forward to the last part of the week for us. The last thing we do in a trading week on a Sunday night is listen to you and the technical analysis of the trades. Always some interesting insights around charts and chart patterns. Thank you very much for that. And
cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. If I can, happy Easter to the team. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming in and sharing today. I do know it's a family day, so appreciate the fact you found a few minutes each for us to come along and to share your stuff today. If you're watching this, hope you get fantastic value out of it. And have a good week trading, guys. Remember, stay calm and make good decisions. And if you do that, it'll all work out for you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Geoff. Have a great week, guys. See you later.